Imagine a leader at the absolute peak of his power. I'm talking about someone who has just wiped the floor with every single competitor in the market, secured every border, and amassed a fortune in assets. Usually in history, that's the moment the ego takes over, right? That's when the purge begins.
Oh, absolutely. That's the classic absolute power corrupts absolutely moment. You expect them to build a monument to themselves and start eliminating anyone who looks at them wrong.
Exactly. But today we're looking at a text that gives us a fascinating, almost jarring contradiction. We're diving into the accounts from 2 Samuel and 1 Chronicles, specifically where King David is essentially rewriting the map of the Middle East. But then he does something so confusingly kind, it almost doesn't make sense.
It's the ultimate juxtaposition. You have David the warlord in one chapter and David the shepherd host in the next. And honestly, if you don't understand the first part, the violence, you can't really appreciate the second part, the mercy.
Let's start with the violence because the text doesn't hold back. We're looking at chapter 8 of 2 Samuel and chapter 18 of 1 Chronicles. It feels like a montage of total domination.
It really is. It's a blitzkrieg. David strikes the Philistines, his old nemesis, and subdues them. Then he turns east to Moab. And this part is brutal. The text says he made them lie down on the ground and measured them with a line. 2 lines to put to death, 1 full line to keep alive.
That is chilling. It's calculated, systematic execution.
It is. It's ancient warfare in its starkest form. He's securing his borders by decimating the threat. Then he goes north, defeats the king of Zobah, and takes a massive amount of territory near the Euphrates. But here's a detail that always catches me off guard. He captures 1,000 chariots, but he hamstrings the horses.
Wait, hold on. From a tactical standpoint, isn't that insane? Chariots were the tanks of the ancient world. Why would you destroy your own captured weaponry?
It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But this is key to understanding David. In that culture, horses and chariots represented reliance on military technology and human strength. By hamstringing them, disabling them, he's making a theological statement. He's saying, I won this victory, but I'm not going to trust in horsepower to keep it. He reserves just enough for 100 chariots, likely for ceremonial use or basic transport, but he refuses to build a standing army based on foreign tech.
So even in the middle of a bloodbath, he's checking his ego?
Exactly. And look at the loot. He gets gold shields, bronze, silver, massive amounts of wealth from these conquests. Even the king of Hamath sends his son Joram with tribute just to say, hey, thanks for beating up my enemy, please don't kill me.
And David keeps it all?
No, that's the thing. He dedicates it all to the Lord. He's executing justice and righteousness, but he's not padding his own bank account. He's building the treasury for the future temple. He's conquering, but he's serving.
Okay, so we have this image of David, blood on his hands, gold in the treasury, garrisons in Edom, total control. He is the most powerful man in the region, and then the camera shifts.
The scene changes completely. We move to 2 Samuel chapter 9. The war room is quiet, and David asks a question that nobody expects. Is there anyone left of Saul's house?
Now, usually when a new king asks about the old dynasty, it's because he wants to finish the job, right? You don't want any claimants to the throne running around.
Precisely. If you're a servant of the old regime, that question terrifies you. But David adds a qualifier. He says, that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake. He's looking for a way to fulfill a promise to his best friend, who is long dead.
And they find Ziba, an old servant, who tells him about Mephibosheth.
Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son. And Ziba is quick to point out the details. He's lame in his feet. He's living in a place called Lo-Debar, which literally translates to no pasture or nothing. It's a wasteland. He's in hiding, he's disabled, and he's the grandson of David's worst enemy.
So when David summons him, Mephibosheth must think, this is it, I'm dead.
Oh, he's terrified. He comes in, falls on his face, and calls himself a dead dog. That is the lowest of the low. He has 0 leverage. He expects the measuring line we saw in the previous chapter.
But he doesn't get the line.
No. He gets the table. David says, don't be afraid. He restores all of Saul's land to him, which makes Mephibosheth instantly wealthy. And then he says, you will eat bread at my table continually.
That's not just charity, is it? Eating at the king's table? That's a status symbol.
It's adoption. That's what it is. The text ends by explicitly saying he ate at the table like one of the king's sons. Imagine the visual, A. You have the royal banquet. You have David's strong warrior sons, the cabinet members, the generals. And there, sitting among them, is the crippled grandson of the failed king.
It's such a jarring contrast to the guy hamstringing horses and garrisoning Edom.
It is, but it's the same heart. David executes justice against the proud, but he extends mercy to the broken. He took the power he won in chapter 8 and used it to lift up the powerless in chapter 9.
It really makes you think about the definition of success. We usually measure it by the battles won or the assets acquired, the gold shields, so to speak.
Right. But this story suggests that true power isn't just about how many enemies you can defeat. It's about who you invite to dinner when you don't have to. It's about whether your victory creates space for the marginalized or just more space for yourself.
That is a powerful place to leave it, from the Valley of Salt to the King's Table, a legacy of iron and grace. Thanks for breaking this down with me.
A pleasure. It's a story worth revisiting. Blessings.